So we're a little bit ahead of schedule. I do see that Raina is here. Is Sani here as well? Not yet. All right. Diana, do you think, have we been in touch? Might we be able to get her here a little early?
Yeah, I have emailed her and I haven't been able to. Yeah, so I've let her know that we're running ahead and I haven't heard back. But she does know the time on the agenda was 10. And then we could be starting earlier. So if there's any chance we could wait a little bit more for Sani, that would be great. If there's other agenda items, if you want to.
Sure.
Are you willing? So we're wondering, so I think the only item here for which we have the presenters is the 245 item on taxi cab. So we're going to move to that if there are no objections. So just a reminder of where we're at. This is not on for action. This is an update and opportunity to gather information. So I'm going to turn it over to the chair of the Task Force Administering Xenial Involvement with Supreme Court Boards, Kyle Schiketti.
Thank you. As you know, I was here with you in November and kind of give some background on where we've been with the taxi cab task force. Over the last couple of years, we've been working with several of the Supreme Court boards to come together on a policy that would facilitate better administration on behalf of the WSBA, and then working better with each other through the court appointed boards and their independence and functioning according to the court rule 12.3. We've been working hard on that for a while. We worked over it during COVID, which sometimes made things a little bit more difficult and long lasting than we otherwise would, but we did good work, and we've identified a lot of different issues that we may need to explore further in the future, but we came to common ground on the policy that you see before you. It's not finished, as Executive Director Nevitt mentioned. This is first read, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, we think we need to do further going outside the boards and the WSBA, which was the primary function, but also with sections and other stakeholders that might have an interest in giving us advice. And I know Ms. Hawkins is one of those who's been giving advice, but there are others. And so one of the reasons to do this on the first read would be to talk about where we're at, the consensus of the boards, at least at this point, and then what we might be looking at in the next couple months before we meet again. And so we do have a policy that's been put together and satisfied by the 6 boards. They've all approved it. We then got the memo that's in your materials that has some information from our general counsel and then our DEI analysis. That's another reason for the first read, because we think we need to have a little bit more discussion about both of those items. And then we would bring the policy back before you at the next meeting for further discussion and perhaps passage. Am I missing anything? That gives a good background, and I'd be happy to answer questions.
I have just one question. What kind of a timeline are you looking for to come back on this?
I think it's next meeting, right? Is that maybe not? I thought August. Why don't we consider that, because
So President Clark was saying that he was thinking August so that we'd have more time to gather input.
And that may be a good idea. Let's circle back with the boards. We might have a discussion on that. And if we can bring it sooner than that, I'd kind of like to move forward with this, but we might need that time. So thank you, President Clark. We might take advantage of that. Does that answer your question?
Just to
Governor?
clarify, when are we going to be asked to make any kind of an action decision on this? Do we have to approve it or something? Is that going to be the next time we see it?
That's what we'll ask you,
Okay.
is to approve, pass it at the next reading, whether that's in June, July, or August.
I think what President Clark is hoping for is that this was sort of an initial update that we'll have a first read in either May
Or June?
or June, and then we'll ask for action in August.
So we'll have another first read. This is not the first read now.
This is information,
Information. Okay.
opportunity.
All right.
for
So there's going to be at
feedback.
least 2 meetings.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
All right.
And I think this is kind of a big deal. The Bar Association's relationship with Supreme Court boards is challenging, and perhaps a little bit challenging by nature because of the way that the court has asked us to administer them. So I think we're making an attempt to try to make that relationship a little bit clearer, and it's we want a lot of input because hopefully this is going to make a difference moving forward.
And if you look at the materials, there are some questions that are directed toward the boards on specific areas of from our general counsel and from our DEI analysis. And you can expect that we'll address those at the next meeting or next 2 meetings. All right. Well, with that, then I will conclude my presentation. Thank you very much. And you'll see me again when we bring this back for first reading.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. I hope that all the board members received the memo that the family law section approved.
It would have gone out via email earlier this week.
So basically the sections, we look forward to presenting in more detail in May and in August, or the May-June meeting, whatever date that ends up being. But to make the point that sections were not included in the drafting, that the family law section believes quite strongly that the proposal is flawed, that it needs to be changed, that it's skewed in favor of the Supreme Court boards in a way that is harmful to the rest of the Bar Association activities, both financially, structurally, personnel-wise, staff-wise, volunteer-wise. And that what is not conveyed and what does not appear to have been conveyed to the Supreme Court is the effect of these unfunded mandates that are coming from the Supreme Court to the Bar Association that inevitably crowd out the other work of the Bar Association. We have not received the legal briefing that you received, and my guess is we won't. But nor have we received these follow-up questions, apparently, that the task force or work group has put together, but we would like to receive them so that we can comment on those at first read. It's one thing for the Supreme Court to, and first of all, we like the boards. We're not opposed to the Supreme Court setting up boards. We understand the Supreme Court has that authority, but they need to understand the financial consequences, the staffing consequences. And we are quite mindful, for example, that the work of sections where we have been talking about structural issues and how it affects section work for years now, and we have been compliant with that. And yet these boards seem to not have any of those restrictions, and no one seems concerned about the structural issues there. So anyway, please read our memo. If you haven't received it, you can get in touch with me or get in touch with Tara. It was approved by our section after a great deal of effort, and I'm sure you'll have something even more detailed in May and June.
Thank you, Nancy. One point of clarification, the questions that Chair Shichetti was referencing, they're in the memo, they're within the legal analysis and the equity analysis. Okay, checking in to see, I don't see Sani yet.
Just going to let you know that it looks like Chair Cherry's hands up probably on the taxi cab issue. And then also let you know, yes, we don't have Sani, but if she isn't here, Raina, the DI council co-chair, could move forward without her. But Chair Cherry's hands up, so I just want to let you know.
All right, go ahead, Chair Cherry.
I don't know if Nancy could send a copy of the letter to the boards, I would appreciate that. I don't know if it was sent to us, but if we could get a copy of the letter from the sections, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, we'll post it as post-meeting materials, so everyone will get a copy of it.
Thank you.